What is up, my gurus? Thanks for joining for another one of these videos. What I am going to be doing is I'm going to be changing over to a daily video format. It's just going to allow me to cover a lot more during shorter videos. So there will be sometimes longer videos, sometimes shorter videos, but you will be getting a video almost on the daily from me. So it's going to just allow me to unpack a few more things than I could in a one video setting, and obviously with a once a week or twice a week update. So thanks a lot. Before I do hop in though, I just want to remind you guys to please help me get this content out there. Subscribe if you're enjoying it, and obviously share the content if you guys are keen. Any family members, any friends that are looking to get a little bit more into crypto and understand a bit better on the technical analysis side of things, you can always swing these their way. And of course, they are more than welcome to join the CoinGuru family. So basically, just to touch on what's going on at the moment, obviously the market is starting to heat up. We're starting to see a lot of TA traders, technical analysts, getting pretty excited about certain indicators on the charts. Everyone's getting a bit excited. I think the sentiment's starting to build up towards a bullish move. I am wary though. It's almost as if people have forgotten about the FUD that we were dealing with just a few weeks ago. You know, I mean, at the beginning of Jan, Jay Powell, the Fed, the rate hikes, all of that, all looming, all these macroeconomics, and then, you know, a few indicators show up on the charts and everyone just forgets about the fact that we have one of the most important meetings slash economical events of our lifetimes basically coming up next month. And that is purely based on the fact that Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve in America, has basically threatened that he is going to hike the rates. Now, if he does hike the rates, it hasn't always been historically damaging. But if he doesn't hike the rates, let me tell you something, that if these indicators are going off at the same time as him announcing that he's happy with where inflation is, we are going to see a blow-off top. Whether it's a blow-off top across the board, I'm not too sure. Whether it's a blow-off top that does obviously lead us into somewhat of an extended or, you know, I guess augmented bear market, whatever the case is, I'm not too sure. We've been in a bear market for quite a while now. People can call it what they want. It has not been a bull market. Bear market, again, as I mentioned in the chats, it's defined by diminishing returns, and there's probably very few traders out there who can say that they haven't seen diminishing returns since May, or at least since the last pump, through Pumptober, down into obviously the Omicron dip, the Omicron dump, let's call it that, and then obviously Santa Rally, etc. But in general, there has been a down trend. Now, getting back into the indicators that is getting everyone excited, and obviously all of the market's heating up. Crypto Twitter is absolutely freaking out. I'm loving it. I think it's great. It's nice to see the sentiment returning. I mean, we could even have a dip into the fear and greed index as well and just have a look at what's going on there. But let's dive into the technicals and let's see what we are looking at. Right, so the first technicals we are going to do is known as the MACD, and this talks about a moving average momentum oscillating indicator. Sorry, I know that's a lot, but it is what it is. And all it does, it tracks two moving averages. And what we've seen historically in the charts is that when we get a cross over these two moving averages, usually in the daily, it's generally a massive sign, and it does denote some really interesting price action, especially in the upside as well. So what we're looking at over here is we're actually looking at the 3-day moving averages. So this is the 3-day MACD. Obviously, the differential between the two lines is exaggerated by these candles over here. Now, this is the main indicator that we are looking at. We're officially getting a cross on the 3-day MACD right over here, and it is starting to signal a bullish uptrend over here, which you can see. This was the reversal. This was July. So you can sort of see that we're actually sort of repeating it, basically. I mean, we're looking at a pretty similar setup. Here's your cross. Here's your rally up. Here's your cross. Here's your rally up. So, and don't worry, I will be keeping the drawings PG rated this time. No, I won't be making any more mistakes on that note. So there's your first indicator, and that is from the 3-day MACD. What I'm going to do quickly is just move over into the daily time frame as well. We're seeing some nice bullish action actually as we're speaking in the charts, which is always lovely. I'm going to quickly just open up a different chart for us to look at. First things first, let's take a look at our favorite, the bull market support band, aka the bear market resistance band at the moment. Like we know, we came up to test here. We were obviously rejected from over here, and it has sent us packing. We're probably going to look at a retest. My personal bias is that we're probably looking to cruise through this. I do see us making 50K this week with the way things are going. And like I said, in terms of the patterns that we've been spotting, which I will get into on the charts, it is leading me to believe that we could be seeing some more movement in that direction. And again, just to be clear, gurus, these green lines have been here from about here on the charts. So we've all known that it was heading down, or let's say, sorry, roughly about here. once we knew that we were obviously going to need to test these. So we have known that this sort of V was coming. It's been there the whole time. And now it's time to see that the V gets conviction, the pattern takes conviction, and we start moving forward into, I guess, what could be the next bull rally / alt season / whatever you want to call it. I'm over these names. I think that a lot of these names just give, false hope to retail traders, and it's just not fair. I mean, how many of us were waiting for alt season? Let's say, right? An alt season never came. It was a narrative-based alt season, and the only ones that really got an alt season were the gaming tokens for the most part. So that's pretty much it in terms of what we're looking at here with the bull market support band. We're looking on the daily chart here as well, and obviously, like I said, we are putting in a pattern here, which I'll go into in the intraday chart. But that's pretty much where we're at. There isn't too much other changes in the macro / long-term and obviously the higher time frames as well. So let me quickly just hop into the intraday. Again, we are sort of at a precipice now where the market is going to need to choose a direction. My bias is that it is in up, and I just want to reiterate to you guys, this was given, this pattern here, this inverse head and shoulders was given at least 8 hours before I saw it anywhere on crypto Twitter. So you guys are in very good hands. It's now time for us to just see that this obviously takes conviction. We need it to break out here above the neckline. Once it breaks the neckline over here, we'll know that it's going to go to 50 and potentially break out of the range. Remember, we do have this big range box that we're dealing with, which has kept the price sort of which has kept the price in this sort of range the entire time, and we've been here since the beginning of February as well, and that was off the last breakout, which came off the back of the NFP data being so good, and that was the unemployment data for those that didn't catch it. Basically, what we're seeing here is we've obviously seen this sort of range movement. It looks like it wants to do that, but now that it's actually starting to show a bit of conviction and it has formed in this inverse head and shoulders, we should be looking at a breakout of this range and potentially a retest of the range and a continuation. Again, guys, I just want to reiterate, I am wary. I'm not convinced that this is going to be the giga pump that everyone's been waiting for. We are facing extremely heavily pressured fundamentals. This whole thing around the rate hikes is huge. I think now it's coming to light that we're not going to see World War III. It was all FUD. I just hope that Vlad himself went and shorted the market like a boss, because if you're going to FUD World War III, you better short the market like an absolute boss. But that's pretty much the case. That's what we're looking at, guys. I can delve a little bit into the alt market, but I don't think that is necessary just yet. As you can see, we are still pretty red across the board. Venus is seeing some ridiculous action, which is really, really nice. Classic little cup and handle there. Didn't see it. I hadn't been looking at the Venus charts, but I must say Venus is one of the great tokens. I do really enjoy it. I'm not personally invested in it, but I do love what those guys are doing. Another one is obviously the Neo token, which has been doing quite nicely. 0x token's been doing quite nicely as well, but I think across the board we've seen a lot of the alt market get pretty damn wrecked with all this up and down seesaw action. So what I'd like to do quickly before we shut off this video and before we close things up here is I just want to take a quick look at dominance, both from Bitcoin dominance and also from Tether dominance, and just see sort of what we're looking at here. So as mentioned, guys, it did find a bit of local resistance up at the top here, and it is going to probably seek to confirm this as support. So what we could do is as Bitcoin dominance drops down, we should see a nice spike across the alt board. You can actually see they're starting to recover in the 24-hour change as well. So that is probably what we can expect from here. The alts should give us some really, really good movement, especially if we see the Bitcoin, the bullishness from Bitcoin coming out of the inverse head and shoulders. So that covers that. I'd also like to just quickly look at Tether dominance as well, which is over here. Let's just take a look at that. And then obviously we'll just have one quick squiz at the stock market. So as you guys can see, we're looking at tests of a higher low trend line, and we are probably most likely going to seek to confirm the trend line and go back up. Now, again, I'm not going to say that it's definitely going to go back up. Remember, guys, if it does go back up, it means that people are choosing to be in fiat, or rather in Tether, rather than in crypto, which is not a good sign because it means that people are selling. All of this has been, sort of sell action, big time sell action. So that is pretty much what we're looking at the moment. I wouldn't mind seeing this thing break the channel here here, come back to confirm and go back down. That would signify a gigapump. Let me just be clear about that. But yeah, I think time will tell with that. I'm not going to rush into any conclusions as well. We can take a look at the CME and just have a look if there's any gaps there. Obviously, we know that we have a gap there, which has been filled, if I'm not mistaken, I think on the daily as well. I'm not seeing too many other gaps that need to be complete. Maybe back down here, we could come back. Let's just actually have a look at that just on a 4-hourly chart. It's usually a little bit better to look at gaps on the hourly charts. So yeah, you can sort of see we came pretty close to sealing off the gap here. But we didn't quite make it. Now the gap is going to exist from 40K. Switching back to our micro range, our internal range, which is this one over here, we can see that that sort of coincides with it. It would have to sort of come and test this line down here, maybe sooner rather than later. Again, I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know the future. I'm not going to tell you I know where it's going. But for now, it is looking bullish, guys. Just remember that if we do have a CME gap, even if we go all the way bullish, the odds are we will have to come back to close that gap. It's not always a requisite like we've discussed, but it does happen and it can happen. And then lastly, just before I close things off, let's have a look at our cipher. This is showing a little bit of bearishness incoming, so it's going to be really interesting. There's a bit of bearish divergence happening over here as well, which cipher has picked up. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think time will obviously tell. And then in terms of RSI, the momentum is heading towards the down. However, it is not necessarily, does not mean that we're going to flip bearish here. As you can see, we came down from the top and then went out and up again before coming down again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do see something similar than that. And I just want to quickly reiterate what that was. This was over here. So, people would have said, right, we're going to probably just keep your eye on the RSI down here. So just follow your eyes with that while I'm doing it up at the charts here. So you can sort of see people would have probably said the bet was bearish over here, and they would have been extremely wrong as we pushed bullish up to the top of the range. So again, RSI isn't always a perfect indicator. And I think we just got to sort of roll with the punches, see what the market does and flow with the market as always. So just a reminder, please, to like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the jigs to help me grow this channel. I really, really appreciate everything you guys do. And I appreciate all the time you guys take to watch these updates. And I will keep them coming as always. Have a fantastic rest of the week, my gurus, and I will see you guys tomorrow. If anybody needs anything, you know where to find me. Have a good one.